Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black. Yes, I am. True. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black. Go back to YouTube. And go back to Facebook. All right, guys. I'm having a little issue, but I'm working on it. I think I got it. All right, guys. I'm having a little issue, but I'm working on it. I think I got it. All right, guys. I'm having a little. I think I got it. Let me minimize this. Okay, guys. I'm gonna run that music one more time. You guys don't mind? And there we go. Tim Black. Tim Black. Tim Black. And back to YouTube. Yes, I am. All right, YouTube people. All right, that's enough music, man. I had to get things straight on my end. It was all me. Do not blame my guest. My guest is not responsible for the lack of technical advancement of your host here. I'm your man, Tim Black. Welcome to the Tim Black Ignite Show, guys. I'm really excited for what we're about to do tonight because there are some issues that need to be discussed that aren't discussed much, and I'm really looking forward to this. What I have for you tonight is a guest who is a prolific writer. He has written... He's on his 10th book. His 10th book is about to be released. Yes, his 10th book. You can find him at Barnes & Noble. You can find him at Walmart. You can find him at Books A Million. You can find him at Amazon. You can find him writing. In fact, I'm surprised he's not writing right now doing this show. That's how he gets down. Ladies and gentlemen, author, and I would say, I don't know if he wants to be called actors, but I say he's a mouthpiece for the reality of what's going on in this world. My friend and your friend now, Clifford Spud Johnson, folks. Give it up for him.
Hey, that's right. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm fantastic, man. How you doing, Cliff, man?
Hey, I'm fine, man. I'm good, man. I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed, man.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Activist. That's funny you labeled me that, but I don't, not yet. I'm just now starting to feel this fight the power movement in a real way, but we'll get into that and you can see what I'm talking about. But I like that. I would love to have that added to my label.
Hey, man, just claim it, man. After my conversation with you, ladies and gentlemen, Tim Black's Wolfpack on Periscope, YouTube, and on where we are, Facebook. Facebook people, how y'all doing? I had an opportunity to speak to Spud. I was introduced to him by Teslin Figaro. You know her as the right arm to Nina Turner. And the reason why I called him an activist is because the conversation was so direct. It was so real. We're talking about Jeff Sessions. We were talking about mass incarceration. We're talking about these mandatory sentencing guidelines that Jeff Sessions was reintroducing. And I said, you know what? Yes, let's bring this. So before we get into the meat of that, I want people to know a little bit about you, Spud. Could you please detail some things about yourself you feel comfortable sharing?
I mean, I'm open book, man. You know, I'm ashamed. Proud. It's so contradicting on how I describe myself, but I come from the streets. I was born in Detroit, but my mother left Detroit and brought me to California at the age of 5, so I was raised in California. And that's really that's home for me, always home in my heart. I've been a gang member for over 30, 40 years, highly affiliated in Inglewood blood gang, highly affiliated in the drug trade from state to state over the years. I finally got incarcerated in 1999. Federal conspiracy to distribute 16.5 kilos of crack cocaine. Didn't have 1 gram of cocaine, but they had 4 people that said I did. And I used to blame myself, blame them people rather for putting me in jail. But they didn't put me in jail. I chose sold drugs. So if I wasn't selling drugs, they couldn't tell on me what it cost me. It took me a long time to accept and realize that. Give shout out to Teslin Figaro for that, because she helped me realize one of that a long time ago. But moving forward, I was incarcerated. My mother, I'm the only child. You know, I had my parents. My father passed when I was young, and my mother raised me, good woman. And everything I've done wrong in my life is not her fault because she told me the contrary. But I chose to do what I did. But one thing she did tell me when I was in prison, she said, look, you got a long time to do, but you don't have life. Use this time to use what God gave you. And I'm like, what do you mean? All I know is the streets. All I know is the rah-rah and that. She said, no, you don't. You're smarter than you know, and you know how smart you are. So it took me time to sit back while I was in prison, like, okay, I'm in the blood stuff and state stuff in federal prison and just wilding out the first few years. And then I just sat down one day and after getting into some trouble, and I was more or less like, okay, this is 2002. You got 13 more years to do. You're either gonna do it hard, you either catch you more time, or you're either gonna come out leaving this place laying on your back. And I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do? And I've never went to school for writing. I never took writing courses or nothing. And I told my mom, I want to write a book. And I don't even know where it came from. And she more or less said, well, write one. She said, you want to do it? That's what you want to do, write it. And that's how I started. And I like to give a special shout out to the men who with me during those hard years, man, because writing little books, I was playing around on paper. I used to let dudes read it. And they was like, man, I like that, man. Keep writing. You write something better than what I was reading. So one particular guy, Antoine Smith from New Orleans, he came to me with a paper one day after I wrote like about 4 books. And they floating around the facility. And everybody, man, will you give me, line for your next book? And that just made me feel good. But I was just writing just to free my mind and stay away from the rhetoric. So I could stop getting in trouble, stop hurting people trying to hurt me. And it kept me safe because I stayed in the library, taught myself how to type and staying busy. And the years started floating by. And this guy, Antoine Smith, came to me and was like, look, man, Terry Woods said she's accepting submissions to try to get you on right. I'm like, man, I'm not trying to do none of that. Nah. He's like, man, I said, for one, I don't even got the money to take that much paperwork to send it to people. He said, man, I'll pay for it for you. So I did it. And this was like 2003. Never heard nothing about him. So then I got kind of hyped. So I started sending stuff to Nikki Turner, all the other hot publishers, Triple Crown at that time, and kept getting rejection letter. And every time I got the rejection letter, it got me kind of mad. Not mad that they were saying no, but like, I'm believing the hype from the prison because these dudes read. And these dudes are men. And these dudes gonna keep it real with me. If they didn't like it, they would tell me. So that built my confidence. So now every rejection that I got, I just put it in a little envelope, little box. And I said, I'm finna get home now. And I just kept going and kept going. And it was like 2 years later, I transferred to another prison. And it was Labor Day weekend of 2005. I'll never forget it. Never, never, never. That Tuesday, Monday was a holiday. So that Tuesday, they give you all the mail for the weekend. They called my name for mail call. And I took the letter and I seen it from Terry Woods. I just threw it on the bunk, another rejection letter. I went on out to the yard, worked out, did my thing, came back to the room, showered. Let me see this one. And the first thing he said, hey, I read your book. I like it. No, excuse me. I love it. Call me, collect if need be. I want to do a deal. And man, I'm going to be totally honest on your show and totally candid because there's no shame because this is one of the proudest moments of my life. I sat there on that bunk there and the tears just flowed. I mean, just my cellular thought somebody passed and I got some bad news. That the tears just flowed because I couldn't believe, because at this time in that business, Terry Woods was at the top of her game, over 800,000 books sold. So to get some type of acknowledgement from Terry Woods while in prison was still a decade to do, just blew me away. Wow. So I sat back and I was like, wow. So I ran out to the phone, I called my mom. I told her, she started crying, I'm crying. Did you call her yet? I said, no, Mom, it's late. I got to call her tomorrow. Well, you make sure you call. Do you need me to Western Union some money so you can call? I said, no. She said, I can call her collect. Would you call that woman collect? I'm going to send you some money in the morning. I said, no, I'm going to go to the counselor. I'm going to go to the counselor, and the counselor going to let me call. So the next morning, I called the counselor, and she said, hey, how you doing? I'm like, fine. And then she said, well, how much time you got left? I'm like, I got 10 years left. She's like, don't think we can do no business. I'm like, huh? And she's like, because we can't do the promotion and this and this and that. So I'm like, okay. So I'm feeling a little dejected. She said, but don't worry about it. We can still do some business. I'll buy your book. So in long term, I sold her 2 books. And that was my introduction into the game. And to make that little bit of money and to be able to send money home for my family, made me stick my chest out and boy, that these hands get to going in. So Long story short, I met a guy. I transferred prisons again in 2007. I met a guy, and I got to give him his props. Jimmy the Saint. He's an author, and he had a few books out. He heard me bragging into how I sold my book to Cherry Woods. And he said, "Hey, excuse me, brother, because East Coast and West Coast are vibe in the feds kind of, so they approach you kind of cautious." And he's like, "Man, I want to holler at you. Can you come to my room?" So I look at it, I said, "You from Philly, right?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "Okay." So we go to his cell. He's like, "Yeah, me go all my books. Here go all my contracts. Why don't you read them?" So contracts, he's like, "Yeah, read them." So I read his contracts and I'm seeing royalty money, royalties lifetime, this. So and he's like, "Do you see what I'm talking about?" He said, "Do you know she can make $1 million off of the books and you can only get what you already got?" So I'm like, "Well, I mean, she said she didn't want to do a deal with me because I'm in prison." He said, "Okay, now I understand that too, but let me turn you on to somebody that just gonna help you." I'm like, "Why you want to help me?" He said, "Man, because I heard about your books and you got some skills." Now this is somebody that's already published. I'm like, "Okay, I respect that." So he ended up turning on to a lady named Karen Mitchell, Jamaican. I love you, Karen. She had a company called True Life Publishing, and she released my first book, California Love. And then she had some problems. So when I in '09, did decent numbers, and she gave me the life contract, the lifetime royalty, everything. So I'm like, okay, now I understand. I'm learning more about the business. I slowed up on my writing and started doing my homework on this business because my mama like, "Hey, you can't be a part of nothing you don't know nothing about." I'm like, okay, so now she's sending me books and I'm reading up and doing all I can. So Karen's company goes to Punk. She gives me a letter back. "You own the rights to your books, or whatever happened to it. This one on is yours, this and this. But don't worry, I got you." I'm like, man, here we go. So she ended up going to work for Carl Weber of Urban Books. And she about 2 years later, or a year later, she emailed me and said, "Carl," she said, "I work for Carl Weber. I bragged about your books. Send me your 2 best books you got right now, and I'm gonna get you a deal, and I'm gonna get you on, and ain't gonna be no looking back. I told you I would get you." So I sent her my books, which is really my best-selling series right now, Gangster Twist 1, 2, and 3. And I sent her that book because I knew it was heat at the time. And I called her like 2 weeks later. She said, "Hey, he loves you. Your contract's in the mail." And I signed a 2-book deal with him for that. And then in turn, 8 books later, we 10 books deep with Urban Books.
Wow, man! What
major distributor?
Wow, Spud, man!
And much shout out to Carl Weber for having faith in me while I was behind that fence. He really had faith in me, and he put me on. So, I mean, I really appreciate it.
Ms. Spud, man, your story is so inspiring, right? And it has so many parallels, man. I didn't want to cut you off, man. It was just so much in that story that I felt that so many people could relate to on different levels. How, you're in this situation and you took ownership of like, hey, you know what? I could have made some different choices, though. I know there's something else, and that's how it usually is. Like, there's always a little for everyone, or more parties than just one in an issue. And you find yourself in a situation and you made a decision to how you were going to react, because we don't control, like always can control where we at. And you definitely in a situation you couldn't control at that point.
Yeah.
But what you took and did, man, with the fact that you said, you know what, I'm going to apply myself to something, man, and your family support, like, I just think it's, I just want people to understand at this point, like how we end up there. Like, this man has all this talent. This talent was there all along. Why wasn't that talent harnessed from Spud? Why didn't Spud get that opportunity before the incarceration? Spud, what's the situation in California, man, growing up in the streets, or, could you elaborate a little bit on that put you in that situation?
For real, man, it's like the era I grew up, I'm 47 years old. So I grew up basically in the beginning. I'm a second generation bro. So it's like, it was a family of sorts. We all looked at just brother. It just got serious out of nowhere. I mean, we just grew up playing football in the streets, other streets, and just hanging and just doing kid stuff, normal kids. Man, wasn't so violent, just this stuff that it turned into being. And then it just out of nowhere, man, it got serious. Like '83. That's why I like that movie Snowfall, because it seemed like it's gonna reflect back to that. Because really, literally, and I'm not saying crack changed it, it was just more or less the whole element on the streets was just, we playing football, we in our neighborhood, and then other dudes come over, we'd fight or whatever, and just, okay, y'all get on how they beat us, we beat them, and it's about defending the neighborhood. And all of a sudden, defending the neighborhood turned deadly, and people start getting hurt. Now, these dudes that you grew up with all your life as friends, and we're young still. I'm saying all your life, but I mean, my older homeboys are 17, 18, I'm 12 and 13, 83. So, but we looking, and now we're going to a funeral. I ain't never been to a funeral before, and I'm seeing a friend of mine that I was with to stay right across the street from me, Pookie, rest in peace, and I'm looking like, wow. So now it became a change. The thing just changed. And then when the crack came, that just spent it out of control of the movie because now I put money into it. It was about being loyal to your game. But now all of a sudden this money was being loyal to this money, then loyal to your game because now this money done changed the whole thing. I'm here, I'm asking mom, can I get $5 to go to the store? 1 month, 2 months later, I'm putting $500 under my mama's pillow when she come home from work from school, tired. My mama going to college at night and working at day to better herself and take care of her own child. So when she come home, wake up with $500 under her pillow, she come in the bedroom and wake me up. What's this? I'm like, I don't know. Hold up. What you doing?
Right.
You know what I mean? What are you doing? I'm like, don't worry. She said, no, it's me and you. We all we got. What are you doing? And one thing she always told me, she said, don't have nothing from me. Tell me so it won't just shock me and mess me up. Because I know if you're giving me this type of money, nothing I'm going to be able to say is going to change your mind. So talk to me. So I just said, man.
Spud, how old were you when you started, bringing home that type of money, putting it under your mom's pillow?
14.
14 years old. 14 years old. I just think that that people need to understand that the environment. I don't think. Did you have like a summer job? Like, was there like jobs for you and your, people, your homies in the neighborhood? I know you said sports, play football or whatever. Were there opportunities for you guys?
You talking about before the crack?
Before the crack.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? One of my good friends' father, James Kemp, rest in peace, Mr. Kemp. He used to always say, "Well, I ain't finna let y'all get in no trouble." He had his own private little carpentry where he used to go paint and lay drywall in the house. He'd get me and my home with Uchi, my other home with Def Kevin, and y'all this weekend, let's go. It's summertime, and get us up. We like, man, why you getting us up at 5 in the morning, Mr. Kemp? Get up. We're going to work. Y'all gonna be men. Y'all gonna learn how to work for a living. And he used to take us, and we used to be logging paint and drywall. And I ain't gonna. Uchi, my best friend, he loved it. He thrived at that because he was more of a hands-on type of guy. And we did it. And I mean, he'd come in every week. He'd give us $100 a piece, and we earned that money. We felt good about that. I mean, we really did. And he would do that throughout the neighborhood. Everybody respected Mr. Kemp. He's like, okay, I took y'all last week. I'm gonna take these boys next week. And we're like, no, Mr. Kemp, we want to go this week. We want to go. So if it could have stayed that way, I mean, it would have put different things. But man, that $100 a week was beautiful. But a year or two later, man, it was like $1,000 a day or better. And that warped the whole mindset of a young black man that's not really having nothing to having a whole lot of something. Right. That's why I'm going to school. We would stay up literally because one thing my mother did, she said, I don't care what you do. And she said, well, I said, she don't care. She was like, whatever you do, you're going to take your butt to school. You coming in here late at night, you're going to school. So no matter what, we had to go to school. So we might stay up all night till the wee hours of night, but first thing in the morning, we was in school. And really, we thrived on being in school because we felt like we was the ghetto stars with the big, gigantic garage door pages and a pocket full of money, the jewelry, the 10-karat cheap gold and beepers and Jerry curls. So we just thought we was, stars. But when I look back at it, it was just slowly warping my mind even more to the right way. Go to school, go to college, get a job. And the right way just was slowly dissipating out of my mind. What I was raised, what my mother, Benita Johnson, told me to do was just slowly slipping away. All the teachers, but you could be the smartest guy in school because you come in, you do your work, and then you just disrupt everybody else because you pick up things so quickly. Spud, focus on school, focus on doing right. But I'm looking at her and I'm like, hey, you will teach you and you might make $15,000 a year when I'm probably gonna make that in the next 3 months. Most likely.
Right.
And now that concept to the point where you just block it out. Now you're looking at jail. You're not going about jail. I'm a juvenile. I can't do too much time. You know what I mean? You start putting these blocks up. So to deflect that, then you steady. Now, like I said, after 83, now you see the death element. And you scared. Because, I mean, the first body funeral I went to was my friend Pookie's. And when I seen him, it terrified me because he was one of my idols. And I'm like, if they can get Pookie, then get me. So it's like one of my other homeboys, one of my older homies, he told me, he said, look, man, he told all of us, he said, y'all young dudes running around this neighborhood, this stuff to change. Either y'all gonna be with this or you're not gonna be with it. If you're not gonna be with it, we're not mad at y'all, but y'all don't come in this park no more unless y'all ready to defend it. So I looked at all my partners with me, and we all like, you know, we ain't gonna back down to each other. I'm gonna defend it too. I'm gonna defend it too. But we kids, 13, 14 years old. But we was forced in something, not forced. They didn't tell us you have to do this. He gave us the decision. And I think to me, I kind of wish he would have said, y'all gotta do this. Because if he would have said that, I might have said no. Because ain't nobody gonna tell me what to do. But by him letting me make the decision, do you want to defend your neighborhood where you grew up in, or you want to just leave it alone? Made me feel like I'm not gonna be an outcast. I'm gonna do what's necessary to defend the neighborhood. And that turned into a whole nother thing. That one body in 1981, to date now, is probably over about 400. And I literally have almost all the obituaries. I should look them in prison and just wonder why I wasn't one of the obituaries and why I was in prison. And I should ask God, why are you saying? Why did you say that? Because I didn't understand. Because a lot of those dudes that died wasn't even really out there. You know what I mean? And that really used to hurt me too. Because I used to go to funerals and I look at him and knew really what, not saying he was a coward or nothing like that, but his heart really wasn't in it.
Right.
And if your heart's not in it, you shouldn't have been out there. And then I've seen this man lost his life. So, you know, that's a whole nother page, but right. I can go on and on. I'm gonna let you ask a question, man.
Man. It's just such a, man, it's just such an enthralling story. It's real life, man. It's real. It's actually what happened, man. And as you tell it, I just think, you know, some people have this, I don't know, moral superiority, right? Where they look at someone else's life and they say, hey, you know, this person made these decisions. You know, when you're a young person, you haven't been on this planet before, and you're given an opportunity maybe to belong to something. Maybe you're given an opportunity to make more money than you probably could ever imagine. You know, young people, you know, make decisions sometimes that aren't the best decisions. It doesn't mean, obviously, look at what you're doing now. Look what you've done the last 10, 12 years of your life. It wasn't indicative of what your capabilities were, what you were able, you know, what you could do. So 15 and a half years, nonviolent offender.
First time nonviolent offender. I was sentenced to 210 months. They give it to you in months in federal prison. 210 months, which is 17 and a half years. I'm a first-time nonviolent offender. I had to do 15 years, 11 months. I've been home 33 months without a hitch.
I would hit the clap button, man, but I don't feel that you should have been there that long.
No, hey, you know what? I didn't either, and I was bitter for a long time. Like I said, I blamed the people who told on me, because I always felt it's like this: you do wrong, you get caught by the police. Good guy catches a bad guy back over the jail. I didn't understand how the federal system works. That they can catch some other bad guys doing it, and they can tell them, okay, yeah, they got it from him, because all you need is 3. You can get 3 people to say that Spud sold them drugs. You can come get me on what they call a federal conspiracy, and that's what had me so angry. Because I'm like, okay, I got an $80,000 lawyer. We finna go to war. If I gotta get a Johnny Cochran type, I'm gonna go broke with this because you ain't call me with nothing. You don't have no videotapes. You don't have no wiretaps or pictures. You don't even have no drugs to test. Oh, no, I'm going to try. And so that DA told me, she said she walked in, and this lady, I wouldn't even want to give her props on give by name. And she was so full. She came in there. She said, kicked off her heels and put on her Reebok shoes. And she looked at me and she said, how you doing, Spud? I said, my name's Clifford. And I love my father. That's who I'm named after, but I hate my name. But to her, I said, my name is Clifford. Don't come in and calling me Spud like you know me. Said, okay, Spud, let me tell you this. You got a 2-year-old and you got a 5-year-old. I'm going to give you the options, and we don't even have to talk no more. Option number 1, You can cooperate. Tell. If you tell, give me the people I want, you can see your son again before they're 8 and 5. That's option number one. That's your best option. Option number two, you won't tell. You can plea out to the charges that I'm giving you and hope that I'm having a good day on your sentences because the judge don't sentence you. I'm the one who sentenced you. Wow. And hope that you can get something under 20 years. Hope. There's option three, and I love this option. She just was so sarcastic with it. I love this option. Take me to trial. Think that just because I have no drugs, I have no pictures, I have no wiretaps, that I won't get you a life sentence. Spend all that money that you got and take me to trial. Because I have the federal conviction have a 98.7 conviction rate on those who take them to trial for drug charges. So I sit there and I look at now. And remember at this time I'm still rah-rah and I'm on this gangster. I'm not gonna let her see me show no sign of weakness. And I said, well, look, option number one is out the way. Option number three is out the way. I'm not playing with you people. I did that, so just give me whatever you're gonna give me. And she said, that's how you want it? She said, because I'm not gonna ask you again. I said, I'm not gonna say it again. I'll plea out and just give me my time. I'm not telling on nobody because I don't know nothing about nothing. Mm-hmm. She said, okay, I respect that. When I seen that lady again, I was getting 210 months. She came in the courtroom with my sentence April 5th of 2000. She looked at me. She said, I said I wasn't going to ask you again, but I'm going to give you one more chance for this judge come in. Is this what you want? And I said, yeah, this is what I want. She said, okay. She went in there, and it came out of there. I had to plea out to 10 to life. The only thing that saved me, the reason why we're having this interview right now, was the fact that I had never been convicted of anything else as an adult. Because if I would have had one conviction, we wouldn't be talking right now because I would probably got 30, 35 years. Instead, my numbers came back 17 and a half to 22, but the judge gave me the low end because I had never been in trouble before and I got 17 and a half.
During the time of your incarceration, did they give you any type of options? Is there any, like, I don't know, plea bargain? I mean, not plea bargain, but parole. I mean, it just sounds like, I mean, just imagine being told you're getting 210 months.
17 and a half years, first time.
I don't know. I just think, they talk now about sentences being reduced. Was it some type of rehabilitative program there that inspired you? What was going on day to day? Did they have any type of mechanism in order to get you reacclimated to society or what?
You know what, man? What I used to tell my mom when I first got, I said, Mama, they don't even have nothing. She said, what you? She said, I said, they don't have nothing for you to rehabilitate. They just want you to come in there and work. Get a job and work. But they have classes. They have like different courses, real estate and financial planning or learning Spanish. The only thing they make you do is if you don't have a high school diploma, they make you take classes to take your GED. They mandatory that they try to get everybody to get their GED. But you got a whole bunch of people in there that can't even read. And all these other classes, real estate, Spanish, learning mechanics, and they're taught by other inmates. It ain't like they're hiring people to come in from society to help you do this, but on your last 18 months, they have reintroduction preparation where they have inmates. And they might have a speaker or two come in from the city to tell you how to learn how to utilize your soft skills when you come off because you're a big man and you don't want to come off intimidating when you're trying to do an interview. And they don't even have, you know what? What was so perplexed to me was they give you applications, how to fill out an application to get a job. And that's what they teaching you to come home. And then when I came home, when I was in the halfway house and I went to go get this job and you had to fill it out online and I'm just sitting there looking at this like, this is not the paper that they gave me in there that I have to fill out. Right. But I'm looking at, okay, luckily it's me. I can adapt quick so I can read, okay, just fill it out like that. And I know how to type, so I'm doing it. But that's me. I know so many dudes that was in the habit of asking me to go to the library with them to fill out the application online because they can't. They don't have none of that in here. But it's like they come see your counselor 2 times a year, 6 months, twice a year for your team. Okay, how you doing? You had any fights? No. Your levels dropped? Okay, good. You want to transfer? You want to get closer home? Yeah. Okay, see you in 6 months. There's no rehabilitation in federal prison. You have to go to rehabilitate yourself. And a lot of good brothers do. A lot of good brothers get caught up in the religion, the Muslim or whatever they do to help give them whatever their comfort zone to help them learn. Then you got a lot of dudes that write and go to the thing and rap and sing. There's so much talent in there that it's ridiculous. And it made me think of that movie that I love, Bronx Tale. When Robert De Niro tells something, wasted talent. Don't be wasted talent, son. This movie comes on so much on Showtime, and I watch it almost every time because I can relate to it because I've seen so much wasted talent. There's a lot of dudes in there with life sentences not coming home. First time nonviolent offenders is not coming home. That is so intelligent. They taught themselves, ordered books, and went to the library and read everything in there. It's just so much wasted talent, and the people in there don't care. And then we got this black president, and I love Obama. I love the fact that we have a black president. I'm not against that. But you wasn't a man of your word. When you were going across the country to these urban cities trying to get these votes, you was promising people that you was going to bring the first time out there, everybody in his home. Your crack and cocaine is the same. This is wrong, and I'm going to do what I have to do. He's so charismatic. He had us all in tears. Yes, yes, yes. And then when he got in there, it was just like, okay, no, we can't let these many people go because the crime rate's going to go up. We can't do this. So, okay, now I feel 18, and Eric Holder says 18-1 is fine. And now everybody looking like 18-1. Okay, now if you got over 4 kilos on your case, you don't qualify for the reduction. I got 16.5 kilos of crack on my case. Don't even have no drugs, just hearsay drugs. So now I can't qualify. So that was the first one. And the second one comes around, okay, he reduces it a little bit more. And they raise the ratio to 8.8 kilos. Okay, but I got 16.5. I still can't get none. Your word was you was going to make crack is the same as cocaine powder. It's the same drug. It has the same effects. But then you wanted to see once you release, what's the crime rate going to go out? What's the recidivism going to change? Nothing changed. Nothing changed. Both times. But still, it was no. So I still file my brief and I get denied. So now, but I'm bitter. I'm hurt more, but I'm disappointed because I'm like this black man just set up and did all this to our families, and we steadily telling our families and sending petitions around, make sure you vote for Obama, make sure you vote for Obama. So I felt like he just played us, and a lot of dudes in there felt like he played us. And it took me to come home, really, and having extensive talks with Tesla about this to really realize that politics is a business. And looking at it like that, I was like, okay. And my distrust for politics was like, wow. But she kept hammering certain points in and she's giving me different analogies because she's an analogy queen. She's giving me different analogies to put it in really like a game format of sorts. And when she did that, it was like, okay, I can relate to that. So now she's helping me understand this political realm. But then I had a conversation with Senator Nina Turner. And she basically said the same things in a different way than Tesman that just made me like, okay, she just submitted what Tesman been telling me all this time. But what she said most to me, what Tesman said as well, was you can have a real voice in this because we can talk about certain things, but you lived it. You felt it. You know a lot of men that's going through a lot of pain behind this. You can really be a part of this. And that's why I say, okay, now I done creeped into the power realm all of a sudden. But it's something that I'm passionate about now because of this Mr. Session dude. Here we go again. Oh, let me rewind one thing. Obama did some good because a lot of people came home that wasn't supposed to. I just wasn't one of them, so I'm kind of like hating a little bit. But I mean, straight up, I was hating a little bit.
Understood. You know what I mean? I just want to let people. I just want to make sure people understand that, you know, these people in these neighborhoods are not manufacturing. Like, no one manufactures crack, right, in the neighborhood, because you need poppy fields, right? So yeah. The thing is this: you go into these neighborhoods with people who don't have much money. All of a sudden, these high dollar drugs end up there, and people looking for a way out not knowing any better, not thinking it's going to be me. You know, you're young. You don't think it's going to be me. I'm going to get caught. I'm going to do 20 years. No one thinks that. Like, if people thought that, they would probably, if they had any other way, they do something else. But I want people to truly understand that these drugs are put in these neighborhoods. And what was that ratio, 18-1 or 8-1?
See, originally, it was 100-1.
100-1.
100-1. This is what Obama changed. And he was dead set on making it 1-1 even. If you get caught with this, it's the same as that. So it was 100-1. He said he's going to make it 1-1. But once he got into office, they got in his ear, and the political powers that be, you can't let this many people out. Violence going to erupt, the war on crime, Mm-hmm. So he made it 18-1, and that put restrictions on the guidelines to four key maximums to 8 key maximums. And that's what spent it all the way out of control. And a lot of people, like the dudes that had life sentences. Some dudes had life sentences that was under that got a date. Some are just now coming home. So like I say, a lot of good people came home. First-time nonviolent offenders was the only ones that could get that. So a lot of people came home, but then you got a lot of people in there. We just like, what the? Is you serious? Now, so you mean I'm gonna have to walk this down just because? And especially when you have hearsay drugs. Oh, it ain't like, okay, you got to have 4 keys of real. You know, some people have actually got caught with drugs, but you got the other people that, the majority of the federal prison, it's very rare that you see people in there that got caught with drugs. Everybody's in there on the conspiracies. They don't have to catch you with nothing to get you inside there.
Say that again, Spud.
They don't have to catch you with nothing. All they need is 3 people, and it could be 3 convicted felons. The dudes they told on me, all 3 of them have been to jail 3 and 4 times for drugs, repeated drug offenders. I've never been to jail at all. So, and I asked the judge when he said, do you have anything to say? I said, man, I got 2 questions that's truly confusing. Number 1, how can 3 men who have been to jail several times for drugs, word, be better than mine, and I've never been arrested a day in my life? And he just looked at me and said, Mr. And then he said, give me your second question before I answer next. How can, I was down in sentence before I came up. It was a older man. He was like 60-some years old. He was a 4-time child pornography. He just got sentenced for his 4th conviction of child pornography, and he got 6 years. And here I am, a first-time nonviolent offender, and you're going to give me 17.5 years? Who is worse of a man? Now, I sold drugs, and I admit it. And I understand, and I'm not proud of it, and then I'm willing to face the crime. That's why I'm not taking your trial, wasting this government money. I'm ready to take my consequences and go on. But I want you to explain to me, how can a man who done this 4 times get 6 years? And I'm going to get, because I didn't know what I was getting at that time. I said, I'm going to get between 17.5 years and 22. I said, I just don't understand, especially when you ain't caught me doing nothing. And you know what the judge told me? His name was, I can say his name because he retired now. His name was Honorable Ralph Thompson in the 10th Circuit of Oklahoma City. He said, Mr. Johnson, you are an intelligent young man, and you have a lot of promise. I can hear it in your voice. I can hear the passion as you speak. My hands are tied. No, not tied, bound. My hands are bound by the federal guidelines. The only thing that I can do for you is give you the lowest number on the guidelines of the drugs amount that you pled out to. And this is the only thing I can do. But if I could go under your guidelines in any way for this, by what you just said to me, Mr. Johnson, I will. And I apologize to you that I can't. And I send you to 210 months, which is 17.5 years, the lowest that you can get. But that's the type of stuff that the federal government and the people out here in the streets living their life don't know, that you letting these rappers get you excited about, that you don't understand. You don't have to get caught. Nothing. And Lord have mercy, don't have a gun. Because if you have a weapon with drugs, Lord have mercy, you ain't coming home. You ain't coming home. And what's so cool about that? You don't have to get caught with the weapon. The man can say you sold him X and X amount of drugs and had a gun on your waistband. You're finna get whatever the drugs hold, and you're finna get an additional 5 to 10 years because of the gun that they don't even have, that a man just said. The feds is serious. And now this new drug on crime, all you're doing now is contradicting the good that Mr. President Obama did do. You let a lot of people come home and see their family. A lot of people, women and children, to come back home. But now you're going to turn around and reintroduce the new War on crime, war on drugs. Okay, you release all these people and you finna start putting, and who's gonna get affected the most? The black, the no, I'm not gonna say black, the people of color, Hispanics, blacks, whatever. That's what they're gonna target. And now they're gonna be more cautious on marijuana, more cautious on this and this, and all you're gonna do is fill them jails right back up.
That's right. That's right.
Totally contradicting what Obama did.
The the drug. I don't know the drug statistics as far as is it going, which direction it's going. I did take a couple. Did take some time to look at a couple articles about Jeff Sessions, about what he's planning to do, and he is instructing other attorney generals to go back to mandatory sentencing, to increase the sentencing, and he's saying that's something that needs to happen. And as you know, Spud, this is all bullshit, and this is all to feed the prison industrial complex, and there is no good to society that can be served by a nonviolent drug offender getting this type of time. I mean, we're talking about drugs. We're not talking about rape. We're not talking about murder. We're not talking even about home evasions or even like carjacking. We're talking about selling drugs. We're talking about the same thing that's in your liquor, a drug. Same thing that's in your caffeine, a drug. But they choose this drug. I just hope that people realize that we're talking about substances that people take because they want to. Now, we can get into what's good for you, what's not good for you. Hell, a Big Mac ain't good for you, right?
Yes, sir.
Kool-Aid done killed more people, more black people than crack, all right? Diabetes, all right? So we could talk about what's good. It's not about it being good for you or not being good for you. And I know I got a lot of white viewers who know this, all right? That if they cared about you, maybe they would fix your water in your neighborhood. They'd fix the air. They'd get rid of the lead paint that's on the walls, making our kids have learning disabilities. I mean, we have all these issues in poor areas. Spud, I think people just need to hear a little bit more about the people that were left there. Do you remember anyone that you came home? I'm sure you made friends, people that you knew from the neighborhood. Those people, their stories, they're still there.
It's like I got a lot of good friends. I met a lot of good friends, and it's strange just that by me being the blood, my blood thing was like my family. We embraced each other. We took care of each other. We looked at the adversary, Crips, as enemy. But when you go into the federal prison, it's broken up into states, California, Texas, whatever. But then you got your Bloods and your Crips. And in California, we became B's and C's, where some of my best friends today are Crips. And that's something that I never thought I would say. Something that people that's watching this show that know me is really like looking at the TV like, are you serious? Did he say that? But yes, it's true. It's true. Good men are still behind that wall. Dudes that was in that wall a decade before I even got there, they're still waiting for a date. But still keeping hope, sticking to their religion, sticking to their workout regimen, sticking to school and getting degrees and doing what they do, hoping that something happens, that they can get some type of reprieve because they got 85 years in 1989. You know what I mean? 75 years in 1993. You know what I mean? 16 charges on top of each other that make a man have 45 years in 1997. You know what I mean? It's a lot. Then it's the ones that I met when I was in there. Dudes from New York. I mean, just from all over. A lot of dudes still email me, man, we proud of you, man, send us a book. We see it, man. I told my mom to order your book, supporting me from behind that wall. So, like I say, I've become passionate with my fight to power now because I want to be their voice. I want to try to do something that can bring attention to what they're doing. We gotta stop this new war on crimes because all you finna do is you finna destroy more lives, you finna fill federal prisons up more, and once you fill them federal prisons up more, they're gonna come to more violent. Because you got too many men in too many places and in too many different places. Once you become hopeless, then it's gonna turn to a whole nother thing. But I mean, God is good, man, because he gives everybody the faith to hold on and just try to fight through. And then we had this shining prince, Mr. Obama, that we just thought was just yes. And then that happened. So you feel defeated, but you just got to wake back up and just go to sleep and wake up and then, like I said, I get emails almost every day, man. We see you. You better not come back in here. You're doing so good out there. We trying to get with you. You know, we praying for you. And I'm praying for them too. And like I say, man, anything I can do to try to bring some voice and some attention to this fight the power move, because it has to be done, man. It has to be. Mandatory sentence for this much. Now, if you're a repeat offender, then okay, I can understand you doubling up the sentence. But this is first time, non-violent. First time. Smack him on the wrist and okay, you do it again, I'm finna get you. But no, you come in the first time violent, you get a football number, 15 years, 17 years, 20 years. Serious?
Serious.
I didn't hurt nobody.
Just to put a little bit more context on this, Sessions, this article is from the LA Times. Sessions restores tough drug war policies that trigger mandatory minimum sentencing, ordering federal prosecutors to crack down on drug offenders. Attorney Jeff Sessions made clear he wants the Justice Department to turn the clock back on earlier tough era in the 4 decades-long war on drugs. In a memo, Sessions said federal prosecutors should charge and pursue the most serious, readily provable offense in drug cases, even when that would trigger mandatory minimum sentencing. Yes, he wants to dial the clock back to undo what Obama's done. And is there any reason to do it? No, there's no. I don't see anything here. Now, don't get it twisted. There are organizations such as the ACLU, and there are some politicians that are fighting back. But the Trump administration, the Trump administration's under Sessions has reversed an Obama administration attempt to phase out federal contracts with private prisons, saying the sales will be needed for the boost in inmate population he sees coming. So what Sessions is doing is feeding the industrial complex. More than that, they're making money off these private prisons. Spud detailed how the only thing that you were certain to do in this incarceration was get a GED and work.
For them, for 40 cents an hour.
For 40 cents an hour.
Oh, you might get it up to 80 after about maybe a decade. But you know what? I want to tap on what you just said. I wish I could have Googled this and had this information for the first hand. So really I don't want to use absolutes. But if my memory serves me correct, when Nancy Reagan initiated the initial war on drugs, I can't remember the year, 87, 88, right around that time. It was because the drugs were so strong and the violence was happening and everybody was being killed and this murder rate. That was her justification. And Clinton them came behind it and pushed it to, we're going to stop this violence. We're going to make sure we're going to do this. We're going to stop this from this drug. Too many people are dying. Which people was? It was at a kind of like a high rate. So it was like kind of a justification, right? But the war on drugs, if you look at the statutes, it's designed to take out kingpins. It was designed to take out dudes that had enormous amount of drugs. But what the federal prosecutors do is use that same wording, but they use it to take low-level people out. People that's selling, I met a dude that had 3 rocks, 3 $20 rocks. But he had been in jail 3 times before for rocks. And he ended up getting a life sentence, 3 rocks, because of his criminal history. He wasn't a first-time nonviolent offender or nothing like that. He had a history of selling drugs. But 3 rocks got him a life sentence, and he's in jail to this day. Now, you got this violence, what they use to justify the war on crime. What are you doing right now, Mr. Sessions, to justify doing this all over again? Because the crime rate and violent rate is not nothing behind drugs right now. They're strung out on this new drug crack that's doing nothing else. It's the same levels. Like I said, I can't give you the statistics, but it's the same type of thing that what's going on. Maybe Chicago, maybe higher than this place or whatever, but it's not behind drugs for you to reintroduce this new war on crime. You're contradicting yourself. You're trying to go take the good that Mr. Obama did do away. So to me, you're being spiteful. And on turning it, who's going to pay for it? People of color.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I read a statistic, or I heard a statistic the other day that said that for every 10,000 black men, 1,000 are in jail, some crazy number like that. And just to put that in perspective, in the normal society, I think it was Antonio Moore on YouTube, guys. You need to go subscribe to Antonio Moore. And I think what was typical in a society is 1%. 1% is typical out of 10,000 individuals. And we Actually, I think it was 100,000. Yeah, 100,000. 10,000 per 100,000 is where we are now. 1% of that should be more like, so it really should be like 1,000 to 100,000. Get it? So the rates that we are incarcerated, and that being black men in the United States, far exceeds anything that's seen anywhere else on the globe. Now, we all know that the American only contains 5% of the world's population, though we house 25% of the world's prison population. We know that we're up there with, we are the leader of locking people up, and that's what we do, and it's a business behind it. There is astronomical amounts of money being made via private prisons. It's like I said, it's an industry. Go ahead, Spud. What do you have to say to that?
On that, what I can tell you, I was in a situation where my family looked out for me enough where I didn't have to force me to work. See, plenty of guys find ways to get out of work, whether health issues or this or stay away from it. They got a place called the Factory. It's called Unicorn. In every federal prison, they make every spot, every facility makes different things. Look what they make them. They make Army fatigues. They make Army helmets. They make little lights that goes in the undercover police cars. You know, the little flash that goes in the headlight so they can flash in the light without the sirens. They make death row overalls for the inmates in federal prison in Terre Haute that's on death row. They make, it was something else, one more other thing, more of it. I forgot what it was, something about death. Body bags. They make body bags for the military. These are the jobs that they make, and they pay you 40. Start off 40. Come to Unicorn, you're going to make 40 cents an hour. And after a whole month, your check is going to be $50, you know. But you got people, and I don't knock it. Please don't, I'm not knocking it, because a lot of men is saving that money, sending that money home to their children. Right? Working hard to get that $50 so they can send $30 home to their son, $30 home to their son or daughter. And I mean, so if that's what it took, I mean, I understand and I respect that. I just couldn't do it. And thank God I had the talent to write. So I did my little job, cleaning up on the yard for an hour and make my 40 cents. And I went back to the library and did my thing. But it's a business. Look at, and this is every federal facility has a Unicorn. And I don't know the exact number of them, but it's a lot across the United States. And this is what they're doing to make for all these things, to make this money, to get these food items, Little Debbie's and all these items sent in and mark it up 30%. It's the law that you can take a $1.29 box of oatmeal pies. Because every time I go, I mean, it amazes me. Every time I go to the grocery store, I look at the little, I go in that section where they have all the little low price donuts and all that. That's the stuff they give you, the low price, not the name brand Hostess and, you know, the big name Doritos and the Lay's. No, you get chips, cheese puffs, oatmeal pies, sweet cakes, and all this Little Debbie. And I look at this one particular oatmeal pie that I really like. Well, still eat too. I mean, it's a habit, but they have them $1.29 in the store, and in federal and in the prison they're $3.50. So I'm making $50 a month to buy this marked up food that you haven't bought. That, you know, because the food that they feed you is horrible. So you got to compensate by buying this junk, tearing up my stomach for years. I mean, I came home and had so many stomach issues and had to get myself straight after that. It's so much that they do to you, and from so many different ways. And I didn't see it then. It took me to make it through that to come back home now and look at it, and I'm like, wow, a business? Man, hindsight is 2020. I mean, man, one wish would you be rich? What would you? If I had one wish, I would just like to take me back to 15, so I can take my butt to school and do right and be able to invest in this business that they got going on right now, because it's serious. Wow. The dollars they make are enormous. And the cold thing about it, you got the men that's working to get that money, but the most part of that money that's coming to buy that stuff is coming from our families in the streets. Just working out there, still out here paying these bills and living their life, but still taking out to seeing $50 or $100 monthly, so you can call them, email them, you know, buy the music. They even got it now where you can buy the music and have a little MP3 that costs $60. A little small MP3 that now I came out to. People don't listen to MP3. You listen to music on your phone. They charge you $60 for a little MP3, and then they charge you $2 a song for every song you download. Oh yeah, it's big.
Are you people hearing this? Are you hearing what's going on here? They are. This is a racket. If there ever was a racket, this shit is a serious racket, folks. Do you hear me? Like, yes, we know about the working part. I heard about the phones. Right, the astronomical amounts of money they charge people to phone home. How they are fighting over those contracts to be able to give phone service to families, to be able to contact their loved ones, or vice versa, I should say, for you to be able to call home. The numbers are staggering. We're talking about big business. Anyone out there that's delusional enough to believe this has anything to do with your safety at all, you need to get a brain check, because that's not what it's about. So Jeff Sessions now wants to go back to it. His justification is we just got too much crime. We just got too much crime. But you know the focus, Spud, is on the opiate addiction now. Mm. So what do you think? Do you think they're going to go into these? Because typically the opiate addiction affects the white communities. Do you see them going into the white communities and giving these people football numbers for opiates?
Not one bit. Not one bit. They'll find a way. I don't know how. I don't really know much about opiates and that type of thing, but they're going to always find a way to design it. And it's crazy. I met a lot of white guys who came in for crack. They couldn't swindle out of that one, because once you had a crack charge, you had a crack charge. So it all falls on the same statute. Mm-hmm. So you can't wiggle out of that. But it's a lot of stuff that I met working out there, because I'm really misquoting myself, because you have to work. You have to have some type of job in there. But you can find in one type of dudes who, in there, they get a little cushy jobs. They get away from it because of who they are. I mean, we see it, and the guards say they ain't like they respect. They let you know strictly what it is. What? You got that job, you got that one. What you got to say? What I'm gonna say? If I say something, I'm off to the hole, and I'm going through that. You know what I mean? So this new war on drugs is, I fear it, because I know who's going to pay the most. Opiates, they'll find a way to twist it somehow that the men of color are bringing it into the community some type of way. It's I don't know. It's disheartening and discouraging.
Yes, it is. But you have to raise the awareness so people know the reality of the situation. A 2014 analysis by the Pew Charitable Trust found that states that reduced their imprisonment rates also saw some of the biggest drops in crime. Do you hear what I'm saying, guys? States that reduced, not increased, reduced their prison rates, saw the biggest drop in crime. What are some reasons why they may see less crime if they let people out? Well, I haven't been in a situation. Now, personally, my cousin did 10 years for robbing someone without a gun. But I can only imagine the stress that it puts on the family trying to help take care of someone who is incarcerated. That Spud highlighted earlier. Spud, what do you think are some reasons why crime might drop when they let people out?
I mean, programs. I mean, it got to start within there. I mean, before I was started, I was trying to get fancy and use an analogy when I said I would go back in time and invest my money, because I would never do that. I would never take advantage of nothing like that. I was just more like an analogy. I know what you meant. You would find a way that, right. You make some other choices. I think I would have done right. I just use that as an analogy. I'm not good at that, like Taylor, so I had to correct that. But I understand the system. I've been a part of the system. I am the system. And I feel proud of the fact that I'm a success from the system, and I'm not talking about my right. I'm talking about I came home 16 days home. I got a job, and I've been at that job for 33 months. And I've been advanced from $11 an hour to $18.50 an hour to a little bit more an hour. And I'm so proud of that. So that was just from my family, my support, and me just buckling down. And that's with no help from federal prison. They didn't give me no, I told you the 18 months. And when I say 18 months, let me explain it to you. It's 1 week a month, 1 day a month. It's a Friday once a month for 18 months, where you go sit down for 3 hours and they prepare you for society. So that's the 18-month course. 1 day for 18 months. My thing is, and when I'm preparing myself for my next journey, you got to prepare these men. These men who do have these dates, don't start waiting until they 18 months. Just get some programs implemented where it start from day one when you enter the place. Don't have other inmates teaching you. Don't. I've gained a lot of knowledge and from other men. I mean, a lot. You'll be surprised. Some very intelligent men. But bring professionals. You have the money. It's no excuse that you can't bring professionals, trained counselors, drug addictions, and bring these people in from the outside world to start teaching these people from day one. Man got 10 years. Don't start treating nothing after you done 8.5. Start teaching him this right out the gate, even if it's once a month. Bring somebody in that's trained with these college degrees to help these people prepare. Because when I came home, I left here July 27th, 1999. And I came home December 30th, 2014. Released June 26th of 2015. That's 15 years, 11 months. When I came home, I was terrified. Though I had books in Walmart, I'm doing good. I'm shaking my chest up. I got a few dollars. Man, it was such a culture shock to me that my stomach was, and then I realized I'm having stomach issues from stress from all this food they've been feeding me all these years, eating this food that's too rich for me, and coming home and looking how bad, I mean, I'm in the passenger seat of the car and I'm steady looking at the speedometer and I swear she's driving 100 miles and she ain't nothing at 45. And I'm looking, I'm nervous. Going to Walmart was like, are you serious? And it's crazy because I'm around 1,500 men daily. So why am I nervous around these people? It wasn't that I was nervous around these people. It's just everything so fast. And I mean, honestly, now after 33 months, it's slowed down some. But I still can get in moments and be like, oh, because, man, when they put you on that other side, the human body is going to adjust. Right. I think I might not say it wrong, but they say the first law of human nature, body is to defend. The body's going to, if you get sick, the body's going to fix itself. So you're going to go in there and adjust, and your mind is going to prepare. You're going to do what you need to do. But then once you do decades, 15 years, 10 years, 5 for real. Any length, a year, 2, whatever. But when you do that length time, and then you have to be just, okay, you go $150. Get a job and go report to your PO, and then your PO tell you, okay, you better get a job or you're going back to prison, and you got to do this, and you got a UA this week, and you're like, okay, because you don't want to fail. Don't nobody get out of here and want to go back. They want to come out here and do right. And I used to sit there by doing that length of time, watching dudes go home and come back. And I'm like, man, come here. What's wrong with you? It's hard. What you mean it's hard? It's hard to do right. It ain't about doing right, man. I got a job. I was working, but man, I didn't have enough to pay for this. And then the PO want his fine money, and then my girl want money for the son. They just had me pulled it everywhere, man. And I said, forget it, start back hustling. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, man, you stupid, man. And I didn't understand that. All these different dudes, I watched a couple of us come 2 or 3 times come back. So I didn't even ask them. And I'm like, well, you just a fool. But all that changed when I came home. Because now I'm like, okay.
You understand.
Now I understand. This is hard. You hold up. I got to stay 10 toes down for real and focus. Because any mishap, the PO gonna violate you. What you doing? Why you didn't report? Any little problem. So you got that back. Now you're looking at, here I am used to accustomed to dealing with a lot of money. Now I don't have a lot of money. And I'm looking at how expensive things is now. So I'm like, wow. So it's just a culture shock in so many different ways to just be thrown back into these streets. So I know I was winded, but basically start from day one. Let's try to get them people to implement plans from day one and start this process. So by the time they do come home, they won't be really culture shocked because they'll be prepared better. Because they don't prepare you. Don't give me a paper application and tell me this is how I'm feeling when you know I got to go online to do everything. Don't tell me, give me $100 cash when you know it's about a debit card and not people don't carry cash for real no more.
Right.
Those are the type of things that brothers need to learn. They need to really put in the system.
But if they really cared, Spud, they would have programs that help people not go to jail, like programs in communities where people are, where that's accessible. Where when people do get issues, first time offenders, where they go into programs where instead of so they can actually prevent the problem. But we know what's going on. But they're not trying to prevent the problem. They're not trying to, and as you just explained, they throw you back out in the world with nothing, and they want you to come back. That's the way I take it. That's the goal. You're in the system. We want you back in the system for what? To make those camouflages, the body bags, to whatever jobs they can get you to do or force you to do. Not get you to do, make you do while you're in prison so they can make more money. I think that's what it is. Here goes harsh mandatory minimums for drug offenses don't even seem to have an impact on the flow of drugs. Listen, guys, it doesn't even stop the flow of drugs. Forget about it stopping the crime. The crime rate lowers when people come home, and locking people up doesn't even stop the flow of drugs. A 2014 study from Peter Reuter at the University of Maryland and Harold Polak at the University of Chicago, two different universities, found there's no good evidence that tougher punishments or harsher supply elimination efforts to do a better job of driving down access to drugs and substance abuse than lighter penalties. There is no impact. There is no statistical impact on giving harder sentences. It doesn't reduce drug usage. It doesn't reduce incarceration because it's not correlated. They want to lock people up for money.
That's it. That's all they want to do. It's all about the dollar, man, and they don't care. And you know what they tell you when you leave? They say, all right, see you when you come back. It's me and four other dudes when we get ready to get out, right? We sitting there, you nervous. I mean, this is one of the best feelings in the world. Like you finna be reborn. You got my little outfit sent to me. It's cold, but I got my little hoodie, got my jeans on. I got on real clothes after 15 years. I'm feeling good about myself. I'm like, okay, I got my little smell good on. I'm okay. And we sitting there, me, another brother, a white guy, two white guys and it was two white guys and me and another brother. We sitting there. And it's a long process. They got you up at 5 in the morning. Get ready to take you to your bus stand. And then the guy said, they ask you a bunch of questions and they do your fingerprints and all that. Then they say, okay, sit right there. Y'all get ready to go. All right. They're like, yeah, you two, see you when you go. He told the two white guys, he's like, you're going to make it, but I'm going to see you when you come back. And then he pointed to me and the other brother. He said, I would say you two, but I know Johnson, I know you got the books out, so you're going to be lucky. You ain't going to be one of them niggas to come back. It's white man. I said, what, you had to shoot your last jab at me before I go because you know I can't say nothing, but you know I'm going to say something because I've been seeing something the whole time I'm here. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm going to go make more money than you ever dreamed of. So you won't see me back. He said, oh, yeah, but that's all right. It's going to be a million of them just like you coming back. That's the kind of enthusiastic stuff they give you going out the door. To plant the seed in your mind already. But like he said, he knew my books. He was seeing all my books coming in, and he's seeing how. So he figured, okay, you're not gonna make it. And I turned to my man. I said, man, if I hear about you coming back, I'm coming to get you. He says, but I ain't playing with you here, man. I'm not coming back to this place. And I'm like, that's right. And we went our separate ways. But that's what they do. It's a lot of mental games, a lot of other stuff that I couldn't really, or I didn't even delve into. But it's serious. It's degrading. It's disrespectful. You know, to be a CEO in federal prison, all you have to do is have a high school diploma. So you got dudes coming there 19, 20 years old, talking to grown men like nothing, you know, but you can't say nothing because you're going to get in trouble or they're going to ship you. If you're from Texas, okay, we're going to send you to New York. You're from California, we're going to send you to Alaska. You're from Oklahoma, we're going to send you to Jersey. You know, that's how they punish you. The feds send, that's their main punishment. They'll ship you so far away. And I mean, it's just so many mental games that they play, man, that you have to just buckle down, stay focused, and keep your prayer, faith in your God in order to make it up out of there. That's serious, because they don't care. Like you say, all it is a business. And all they care about is $8, man.
The business of prisons. I tell you, man.
Business of prisons.
Spud, man, you've been an amazing guest, man. And you really have, man. I could probably sit and just talk to you, man. We got to have you back. I want everyone to know about your work, man, about your books, because I think it's important that people see the progression. You heard the story. Now let's see what this man has been doing. What kind of got him in a different state, a mind state. Where can people find your books? Talk to us about your books.
Man, you can check me out on my website on www.cliffordspudjohnson.com. I got all my work, my bios, blogs I put out. My latest book that came out 2 weeks ago, Can't Stop, is kicking off a new series. I got all my titles: Gangsta Twist 1, 2, and 3. He Don't Play Fair, She Don't Play Fair, California Love, Broken Promises, Kiss Me, and Can't Stop. You know what I mean? And I have an upcoming releasing a short story series of All Around the Way Girls 11 that I wrote Party Girls with. I got an upcoming Won't Stop, the sequel to Can't Stop, and They Don't Play Fair, Gangsta Twist 4 coming soon. I got plenty of work coming out, so I can't stop because I won't stop. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, you can check me out at Walmart, Barnes and Nobles across the U.S., man. And I just like to send love out to everybody who's been supporting me when my book came out, and just the words and of encouragement and how they love my story, how they heard about me. You motivate me to keep going on and keep writing and trying to motivate other guys on the other side of that fence, let them know, hey, you know it can be done because I was there with you. Just, you know, keep your faith. And, you know, and like I said, I wasn't no college graduate, and I taught myself in there. I taught myself how to write and format books by reading Sidney Sheldon books. You know what I mean? That's my favorite author. And so it don't matter how you learn or how you put it together, you can do it. Just keep the faith. You know what I mean? I'm here, and I'm not going nowhere for a long time because I got a lot of aspirations to a lot of other stuff. But my main goal, I'm gonna follow my goals and I'm gonna follow my dreams. But I'm not gonna forget about the men on the other side of that fence. I might not never be able to make no actual change happen, but your voice will be heard through me.
Wow. That's
where I'm at with it.
Yeah, that's what it is, man. And I feel the same way, man. I try to make my voice be heard. I don't know if I can change the world, but I can change those around me. I can do the best that I can to be going the right direction and help others, man. And look, Spud, man, don't you underestimate the people that you inspire, man. If you inspire one person, you know, one person to take another look, or one person to make a different choice, realizing you're like a gazelle being hunted by lions out in these streets, and and what that will mean for you and the rest of your life. You know, if you inspire one person, man, to take a second thought, man, and just realize that they're being preyed upon. This is a system that there is no give in this system. This system is unrelenting. I think you will have done an amazing thing, my brother.
I'm trying, man, and I hope I do. You know what I mean? I just want to be heard. I'm not just gonna wrap it up with, man. I just got so much love, and I appreciate what you did. I appreciate you hearing me. And if you ever need me to come on, just give me a call, man. And I'm there, man. And I really appreciate you. And like I say, man, we gotta fight this. We gotta find a way to stop this man from doing this with the war on drugs, man. Because we're gonna lose so many more people. This hurt so many families.
You're right, absolutely right, folks. People in jail are alive. They are human beings. These are people with families, with people that love them, and they love people as well. Go to CliffordSpudJohnson.com. Pick up Clifford's books. Support his journey. His journey is ongoing. We don't know where it's going to end. We hope it doesn't end anytime soon, guys. Thank you for tuning in. You got it, brother. Thank you for tuning into the show, guys. I see you tomorrow. Jamal Thomas will be here live at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't forget CliffordSpudJohnson.com. I'm your man, Tim Black. And remember, guys, don't you let nobody take your cornbread. Shout out to Teslin, Nina Turner, and all.
Real. Boom.
You know it.
That's right. Hey, man, I appreciate that, man.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, brother.
That's right. That's right.
No doubt.
Yes, I am. True. Funny. Tim Black. I am TimBlack.com. Tim Black.